What's the main difference between optimism and pure delusion? Stick around and you'll find out. Hello, I'm Marvin, and I'm the Movie Monster. It's hard to say if Star Wars full-on died in 2024. Many would argue that the series made famous by George Lucas died long ago, with Luke Skywalker on a rock on some stupid planet called Tooney. Others would argue that it was just the first slash in a series of 1,000 cuts that slowly bled the life out of the former greatest IP known to man. But I don't think anybody with half a brain would deny that if there was any life left in Star Wars prior to 2024, Kathleen Kennedy officially gave it the death blow with The Acolyte, a series that was spawned from the depraved and ignorant mind of Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant, Leslye Headland. I mean, this show had it all. Insufferable girl bosses, lesbian space witches, evil Jedi, Leslye Headland's horrible wife, a CGI critter that uses they-them pronouns, henceforth named Themit Otter.
When you ain't no hole in the washtub.
And the utter destruction and desolation of George Lucas's canon, up to and including fundamentally changing what the Force is.
Some call it a force and claim to use it. But we know the thread is not a power you wield.
Now, thankfully, this act of cultural arson spawned from the mind of an idiot only burned momentarily, much like the fire that burned in the first episode within the vacuum of space. After allowing this blockheaded moron to spend $230 million on this nonsense, Disney pulled the plug, canceling it after only a single season. But Leslye had bigger plans. Much bigger. Leslye wanted...
6 seasons in a movie. 6 seasons in a movie.
Close. She wanted 3 full seasons in a movie, according to one of the show's stars. Just how big a bullet did we actually dodge here? Find out today on Tooneytown TV. All right, guys, the Acolyte creator Leslye Headland, I couldn't fit it in the headline, but Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant, Leslye Headland, planned for 3 seasons and a movie of the Acolyte, of the Star Wars turd that is the Acolyte, according to the quote-unquote star of the show. Well, one of the quote-unquote stars. This is from thatparkplace.com, written by myself, Marvin Montanero, Marvin the Movie Monster, as you know me. That's what my friends call me, Marvin Movie Monster. So, the Star Wars universe just can't seem to win lately. Perhaps the greatest example of modern Lucasfilm shortcomings can be found in the story of The Acolyte, the controversial Star Wars High Republic Disney Plus series by Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant, Leslye Headland. See, even in the news articles, I can get in the Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant thing. The series was canceled after a single season, but one of its stars let slip that Headland had ambitions for her creation that included 3 whole seasons and a movie. Guys, just think about just the vapid, empty nonsense that we saw on that screen, from the fire that was burning in space to Mama Yass and the thread to Themit Otter and all the ridiculous, stupid things to, her having to choke out Jedi Master Squid Games because she had to kill the patriarchy to kill her own father or whatever it was because Leslye Headland hates her family. Imagine that for 3 whole seasons and then a theatrically released movie. Like, come on. That is enough to make anyone crack. Now, recently, Manny Jacinto, known for his role as Khmer, or the Stranger in The Acolyte, shed light on Headland's original vision for the show during a panel at Fan Expo. He said, quote, "I remember Leslie's dream was for us to do 3 seasons, not just this one." Oh, yeah, we all knew Leslye wanted to continue on beyond the 1 season, but to have 3 seasons? I wonder if she actually had planned out 3 seasons, or if it was just like, yeah, I want to do 3 seasons. So he said, but there's something about having a finite ending to things that makes it so much more special. So yeah, I don't know if I'd do it or not. You would do it. Shut up. But 3 seasons in a movie would have been incredible. 3 seasons and a movie. And I know we had so much more to explore with that 2nd season. Oh my goodness, man. You should just stick to being Jason Mendoza on The Good Place. You were really good in that. And by the way, Manny Jacinto, he was one of the good things in The Acolyte. Him and Jedi Master Squid Games. which was the guy from Squid Games who learned English for the role. They were like the two bright spots in this. They were actually good actors, kind of dropped into the middle of this nonsense, having to read the words of a demented lunatic, an utter blockhead. And by the way, I call her a blockhead because she's stupid. The fact that her head is shaped like a perfect block, like a perfect cube, is just a happy accident. Headland's creative direction aimed to delve deeper into the Star Wars lore, with Jacinto hinting at significant plot developments that remained unexplored due to the show's cancellation. Specifically, he addressed the brief appearance of Darth Plagueis in the final episode, suggesting potential connections of future storylines that could have been explored in subsequent seasons. Can you imagine the damage that this woman would have done if she had gotten her hands like in a concrete way on Darth Plagueis, allowed to like explore him, or Yoda, as was teased in the last second of that show? Could you imagine like just how bad that would have been for Star Wars and Star Wars fans? We definitely wanted to explore it, Jacinto continued. There was definitely going to be more of Plagueis in the second, or if not the third seasons of the show. But I just can't say because, we could come back. I don't know. You're not. You're not coming back. I don't want to spoil anything and give anybody any false hope, but I would just say that there was a lot more to explore for sure. Yeah, I'm sure there was a lot more to explore, but we will never, ever, thankfully, have to see it. I say thankfully. If they announced tomorrow that that show is coming back, I think I would celebrate because it would just be so funny. Like at this point, it would just be hysterical to just laugh at it, to laugh at Leslye Headland, to laugh at Kathleen Kennedy, and then to continue making videos for you guys about the ridiculousness that is the Acolyte. Now, despite Headland's ambitious plans, the Acolyte faced significant financial and viewership challenges. The series reportedly lost or cost, well, I mean, Freudian slip, right? The series reportedly cost upwards of $230 million to produce, a figure that likely exceeded $250 million when marketing expenses were included. These substantial costs were not matched by viewership numbers, which fell significantly short of expectations. Season finale viewership, for example, was recorded at 41% below that of Ahsoka and 50% lower than Andor, both of which were already considered commercial disappointments within the Star Wars franchise. And remember, she spent $230 million on this. She spent over $500 million on, or not she, but she is in Kathleen Kennedy, spent over $500 million on 2 seasons of Andor, which, by the way, everyone tells me is great. I'm gonna have to watch it at some point for the channel, especially before season 2 comes out, because I want to actually cover it for you guys. But I mean, I don't care how great it is. It's now probably not worth $600 million. So in the wake of the cancellation, cast members voiced their frustrations attributing the show's demise to factors beyond financial constraints. Basically, it was everything but the show's fault.
Oh, I see. Oh, it was no one's fault. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Well then, problem solved.
Now, Jodie Turner-Smith, who portrayed Mother Anastasia, or as we know her on this channel, Mama Yas,
Yes.
criticized Disney for what she described as a lack of support against racist backlash. Disney's got to stop doing this thing where they don't say anything, where people are getting effing dogpiled on the internet with racism and blank. I believe she said bowl something. Turner-Smith emphasized the need for Disney to take a stand, suggesting that doing so could leverage the significant buying power of people of color to influence the company's stance on social issues. And then you see Jedi Master Leslye Headland's wife, just the worst character ever conceived. Good Lord. So, of course, Disney does have a history of standing behind its actors, specifically in the Star Wars franchise, when perceived racism occurred. Everyone said there was this huge racist backlash against Moses Ingram when she was playing Reva on Obi-Wan before the show even came out. We got Ewan McGregor sitting in his car being like, you're not a Star Wars fan if you don't love Moses Ingram. Like, no, that's not how it works, Ewan McGregor. You're not a Star Wars fan. Like, it's very obvious every time you talk about Star Wars that you know nothing about it. The one person I think in the world that knows less about Star Wars than you is Jodie Turner-Smith, because she seems to have a history of trouble accurately recalling the past when it comes to Star Wars. She famously cited a lack of female leaders in the Star Wars universe, referring to it as patriarchal.
To kind of be that, because I feel like Star Wars is very like patriarchal, so it was kind of cool to have like this sort of woman-centered figure.
What the hell are you doing?
Somebody has to save our skins.
Many believe Turner-Smith made a valid point, as long as one overlooks Princess Leia, Padme Amidala, Mon Mothma, Harrison, Dual Admiral Holdo, and just about every other leader from the Star Wars universe who isn't named Yoda or Palpatine. Similarly, Amanda Stenberg, who, as I like to call her, Amanda Sameface, the quote-unquote star of The Acolyte, is known for playing two characters with one facial expression. She blamed the show's cancellation on vitriol and hyperconservative backlash from certain segments of the fan base. And she said, "Of course, I live in the bubble of my own reality. For those who aren't aware, there has been a rampage of vitriol that we have faced since the show was even announced, when it was still just a concept and no one had even seen it. Yes, because all you guys did was run around talking about how diverse and inclusive it was going to be. Nowhere in it were you like, we're going to make a great Star Wars show, because you weren't going to, and you didn't." Now, contrasting the cast's perspective, Disney Entertainment co-chair Alan Bergman provided a blunt explanation for the cancellation of The Acolyte. That you see him here on the left side of this photo. In an interview with Vulture, Bergman addressed the financial impracticality of continuing the series. He says, "We were happy with our performance, but it wasn't where we needed it to be, given the cost structure of that title, quite frankly, to go and make a season 2. AKA, it cost entirely too much money to make this stupid, god-awful, godforsaken show, and we're not going to sink another $230 million of shareholder funds into this nonsense vanity project group therapy session bullcrap." But, Kathleen Kennedy loves her, despite the fact that there's just so much nonsense, like a grown woman flirting with a child in this show. God, there's so many just like things that made you just stop and like, a what? Like Mama Yas turning herself into smoke instead of just explaining to the Jedi, like, hey, hold on a second, there's a misunderstanding. The Jedi just being the worst people ever made. She was a hit piece on the Jedi. They needed to see. Here's the thing: when you're a terrible person like Leslye Headland, like Kathleen Kennedy, you have to tear down good people. You have to make it so that even the Jedi, the avatars of light and goodness in the galaxy far, far away, are just as depraved and terrible and horrible as you, because it makes you sleep better at night knowing that you're a terrible human being. But what do you guys think? What do you think would have happened if we had actually gotten 3 seasons and a movie of The Acolyte? Would anyone have benefited from that other than the content creator business? Because man, oh man, The Acolyte was a gold mine for all of us. But sound off in the comment section below and let me know, guys. I want to hear your thoughts on this situation. The Acolyte is the single biggest turd in the history of Star Wars. It's a festering, burning, infected wound pulsating on the necrotic flesh that was once the most evergreen property in the history of film. George Lucas created an amazing galaxy, one that millions of people around the world were able to lose themselves in. It didn't matter what you looked like or where you were from, Star Wars was universal, and it had something to say to everyone. Then this decrepit old harpy took over the show and decided that universal appeal wasn't what this franchise needed. She decided that the Star Wars universe had to be a reflection of herself and the world in which we live in today. The world that we're all trying to escape from by diving into fantasy and science fiction. And so then did Kathleen Kennedy put into action a master plan that is actually impressive in the sheer scope of its utter ineptitude. She took Star Wars, a property, as we said, that appealed to all, and turned it into an IP that appealed to absolutely no one outside of a bunch of blue hair having, septum ring wearing Tumblr weirdos, and the results speak for themselves. The Acolyte didn't kill Star Wars. Leslye Headland didn't kill Star Wars. Kathleen Kennedy killed Star Wars by enabling DEI box checker hacks like Leslye Headland to play with house money and go all in on a pair of deuces. The only solace the people who once called themselves Star Wars fans still have is that this miserable show was canceled after a single season. That means we'll never again have to see Amanda Sameface, Mama Yas, Them at Otta, Jedi Master Squid Games, Padawan Chitara, Jedi Superfan, and all the rest ever again. Thanks for joining us, and a special thanks to our Tooneytown TV channel members. You guys are the heart and soul of this operation, and for that we thank you with exclusive content like our members-only live stream every Monday at 3 p.m. You also get exclusive early access to videos like this one, so if you're not a member of the Tooneytown TV channel, join today. Also, join us Thursday nights at 8 p.m. EST for Tooney Talk TV, our live stream pop culture podcast where you can make your voice heard as a part of the Tooneytown community. If you liked what you saw here today, please like, share, and subscribe. Click that bell icon to get notified of new videos as they drop. From all of us here at the Tooneytown channels, I'm Marvin the Movie Monster. Now get out of here!